Hello there everyone, I hope you are all doing well. This second video is a continuation of the first one. I'll be trying to help you throughout the revolutionary period in American literature. I'll go briefly inshallah and try to highlight the main things. I'm using my slides from the lesson I have sent you. You can do that and follow with me. Speaking here about the revolutionary period, of course, is not really difficult to grasp because after the puritanical beliefs that took place in America for a long period of time, people started to think of creating a dependent nation of their own. The rise of national literature started politically, then it moved to fictional stories. Because of the rigid way of treating things and the focus on religion and the church only, people started to think that it was high time for them to start and transfer their interest to the social, economic, and cultural spheres. Of course, the revolution took place in 1776 and it lasted until 1783, where America got its independence from the British Crown. At that time, Britain was ruled by King George III, who was English but also had German origins. Why is America also ruled by King George III? Because at that time, during the Colonial Puritan period, America was only a group of colonies, mainly 13 colonies, ruling the area. They were sent and still controlled by the British Crown. After a period of time, they started to feel superior to the British island, and they started to feel more American than English, because at that time Britain was not really interested in them. They lacked many things. They lacked money and supplies, and they needed to really rely on themselves and on their potential to establish life there. King George III promised the Americans, after some war they had together, namely the Indian-French War, to give them their independence. After the war was finished, Americans asked the king to grant them their freedom, but he refused. Instead, he asked for more taxes because he considered that those colonies belonged to him. This was the main reason why the American Revolution started in the first place. The American Revolution is also known as the Coming of Age. It is like a period of transition where someone or something transfers or shifts from the period of innocence into adulthood. It's like becoming mature or more mature. So there was a kind of separation, a sloughing off from the puritanical beliefs. They started to think more secular about things, not only religious. They were tired of the constant preaching and religious biblical teachings. The age of Enlightenment started as the age of science. Scientific innovations were really appreciated during the Puritan times. But during the period of the Enlightenment or the revolutionary period, Americans started to really give more importance to the irreligious things, similar to economics, society, and culture, etc. So, the idea of the Enlightenment started with Adam Smith and his free market system, where he allowed everyone to work and seek opportunities in life. It was easy for them to work hard and gain land and, of course, plant the land to gain more money. So it was really open for them to really appreciate that American individual working. From the economic ideas, philosophical ideas started. So the Great Awakening mainly started with Smith's economic ideas. Secular aspects were highlighted, and the idea of puritanical religious beliefs were less appreciated. The American Enlightenment is different from the European or the British one because the 18th century American Enlightenment was marked by rationality. Scientific inquiry was emphasized, and religious dogmas were withdrawn. The Enlightenment in America focused on the individual, on the human. It is also inspired from the aspects and notions of humanism, but it was more strengthened into believing that every individual has the right to kind of explore in their potential and skills. Benjamin Franklin is the main figure of this movement, the Enlightenment. He was called the first great man of letters, and he personified rationality. He personified the example of the American hard-working, self-made man. He wrote a very famous book known as Autobiography. In it, he expressed his experiences, he retold his experiences in a way of teaching people how to become humans. In the way he helped the novice American individual to become a better person in his society. He focused on the idea of a person has to come to this new world known as America and try to do something for the benefit of the nation. His idea of what can a person do focused on the aspect that every man, every human being, every woman has the capacity, the intelligence, the mind to explore and to implore in order to work hard and benefit oneself and the environment as a whole. Of course, this idea is also a Puritan because even Puritans focused on hard work and on education and self-made people. He considered that America was a rational construct, an objective construct, and it needs to be invested in. But before we invest in America as human beings, as Americans, we need to invest in the individual himself, because he is the true raw material that we need to teach, to guide and orient in order to be able to use all those talents and explore them in his nation. American literature started mainly with political pamphlets. The most famous political pamphlet of the time that aroused people's awareness was Thomas Paine's Common Sense. This pamphlet, this short book, helped people understand that they are already created free, and England, as a small island, should never control them. It is a common sense, thus, that anyone needs to feel free and enjoys this type or kind of freedom. Of course, the British Crown was not really satisfied with this, but this common sense as a pamphlet sold many copies in its time.